Good evening, and welcome to this quiet little corner where you can simply rest. Where there's no need to rush anywhere, prove anything, or strive toward anything. Where every thought can become soft, like mist over a morning lake. You're here, beside me, to spend a few hours in peaceful calm, listening to a gentle, slow journey across our earth. The earth we rarely truly notice, and yet it always holds us like a soft hand, always supporting us, always carrying us through space. As the music unfolds around you like a soft haze, allow yourself to take a slow breath in, and just as slow, warm breath out. Imagine that with each inhale, you fill yourself with calm, and with each exhale, you gently release everything unnecessary. Everything that was the rush and noise of the day, every thought that clings, every worry that has no purpose right now. Right now, there is only you, your gentle breathing rhythm, and our planet, quiet and vast, hanging in space like a softly glowing orb, drifting through the endless night. Tonight, we will journey through 100 relaxing facts about Earth, each becoming a small story, light as a feather. A story that will gently ease you towards sleep. A story that will help you feel the planet's calmness, hear its breathing, notice what is usually hidden from our eyes. But before we begin, let me tell you something important. We often think of Earth as just a rock, a big round object spinning around the sun. But it's not just a rock. Earth is a living organism with its own rhythms, cycles, pulses. If you listen closely enough, you can feel it breathing. Not in the literal sense, of course, but in that deep, ancient sense, revealed in the ocean currents, in the motion of the winds, in the slow dance of tectonic plates, in the radiant glow of the auroras. All of these are expressions of its inner life, its secret processes, its long, unhurried breathing. Earth never stands still. It is constantly changing, growing, and renewing, just like living beings. Sometimes its movement is quiet, peaceful, barely perceptible. Sometimes strong, impulsive, like the beat of a heart. But these rhythms are its nature, its sleep, its awakening. And tonight, as you slowly sink into our story, you may feel this great living organism. Feel that you are part of its slow, ancient breathing. Now you can make yourself comfortable. Let your body grow a little heavier, like a small pebble gently settling on the bottom of clear water. Feel your shoulders relax, your palms warming, your eyelids growing heavy, your thoughts stretching out, becoming longer, more fluid. You can allow yourself to listen without effort, without concentration, without tracking every word. Let my voice drift beside you like a calm wave in the night ocean. Tonight, we begin a journey through 100 facts. But this is not a rigid list. It is a gentle flow of ideas. A soft river carrying you from one image to another, from mountains to oceans, from forests to deserts, from caves to the shimmering night sky. Each fact is a tiny firefly. It will flicker with gentle light and then softly dissolve into the night, making space for the next. No rush, no pressure, just a peaceful stream. You may fall asleep at any moment, and that's perfectly okay. Because this text is not only about Earth, it is about silence, about peace, about giving yourself permission to slowly drift into sleep, like a starlit boat floating into the dark stillness of space. Sometimes we forget how wondrous our home truly is. We treat it as something ordinary. But if you just pause for a moment, slow your breathing, listen to the quiet rustle of leaves, the deep murmur of the wind, the distant roar of the sea, a realization begins to emerge. Earth is an incredible story that we are living each moment, even if we don't notice it. And tonight, we will remember that story. We will touch its depths, its peaks, its mysteries. This journey will require no effort. It will be soft, warm, and deep, like a long sleep beneath nature's gentle blanket. With each new fact, you will feel calmer. The world around you will grow quieter, and your thoughts clearer and lighter. And when you are ready, we will begin our journey. A journey across a living, breathing planet that gently carries us through the cosmos, where every stone, every drop of water, every gust of wind holds a story stretching back millions of years. Take one more soft breath in, and just as soft, warm breath out. Now, welcome to the world of 100 relaxing facts about the Earth that will change how you see the world. Sink in, and let the Earth gently lull you to sleep. Imagine you are lying on the surface of the Earth, not merely on grass or sand, but directly on its vast body stretching beneath you for thousands of kilometers. Imagine that it is warm, alive, slowly breathing, that you can feel gentle, barely perceptible vibrations beneath you, as though somewhere deep within the planet takes a slow inhale, and just as long, warm exhale. This breath is not a sound you can hear with your ears. It is more of a sensation you can catch with your heart. The Earth moves, lives, responds, and if you become still enough, you can almost feel this ancient, peaceful pulse. Its breathing is born in the oceans, in their slow rises and falls, in their rhythm that has existed for billions of years. The atmosphere breathes too. Pressures change. Waves of wind sweep across continents. Every cloud moves like a light thought drifting by. And although we do not perceive these processes consciously, the Earth constantly makes long, unhurried inhales and exhales, following an internal rhythm far older than any living being. Our planet is not a static sphere, not a motionless rock. It is an organism that slowly shifts, reshapes, and remains in eternal movement. If you go deeper, to places we cannot reach, beneath layers of soil and stone, you would discover motion that has never stopped for even a second. Tectonic plates, enormous in scale, like monolithic continents, glide upon the viscous mantle. Their speed is so small that in 1 year they move only a few centimeters. Yet it is this movement that created everything we see. Mountains, valleys, oceans. These plates are like muscles of a massive body, slowly stretching and contracting. If the Earth could tell its story, that story would not be written in words, but in the movement of stone, in mountains rising, in oceans sinking. And at the center of all this motion is warmth, the internal heat of the Earth that has never faded since its birth. This heat is like a fire in the heart that never tires. Earth's core is a molten ocean of metal spinning in absolute darkness. This hidden fire not only warms the planet from within, but drives countless processes that support life. Volcanoes, hot springs, geothermal fields. These are rare moments when the Earth shows its inner glow outward, as though it slowly opens its eyes from time to time. This same internal fire gives birth to another wonder, the magnetic field. Imagine an invisible cocoon enveloping the planet like a soft veil. It is invisible, yet always present. This field dances within solar winds, bends, shimmers, creating the glowing skies of the auroras, mesmerizing, unhurried, like gentle waves of light. It changes every second, living its own life. If you could see the Earth's magnetic lines, they would look like endless threads of light quietly swirling around the planet in its own slow dance. But even without starry auroras, the Earth is never still. It never remains static. Every part of it is in constant motion. Rocks slowly crumble under rain. Water erodes coasts. Glaciers creep forward. Sand travels on the wind from one shore to another. Even mountains, seemingly immovable giants, are constantly changing. Some peaks rise higher, others gradually smooth over time. This movement is so slow and long that no human life can witness it fully, but it exists. It resembles the breathing of a sleeping being, barely perceptible, yet constant and eternal. Earth holds us, not just with its mass, but with its gravity. A soft, strong, steady embrace. You can feel this force every time you stand, sit, lie down. It is as though it tells us, I support you. You are safe. And yet even gravity shifts slightly. When the moon passes overhead, its pull gently loosens the Earth's grip. This causes tides, lifting waters and laying them back down. And if you imagine yourself lying on a massive vessel rocking in the darkness, the tides would feel like soft, deep, steady swaying. Within the planet, there are rhythms too. It pulses, not like a human heart, rapid and strong, but like the heart of nature itself, slow, with vast pauses, yet sure. These pulses are created by the interaction of ocean waves, winds, tectonic processes. They travel through rock, through soil, through everything. These vibrations are so subtle we never notice them, but the Earth is full of this quiet whisper. It resembles the distant murmur of ocean depths, a sound we sometimes hear in our dreams. And above all this lies the rhythm of day and night. Day and night, like two gentle swings of a pendulum. When day comes, it is as though the Earth takes a deep exhale. Light, warmth, motion, growth. When night arrives, it takes a slow inhale. Silence, cooling, soft stillness. This cycle repeats thousands of times in every human life. We wake with the Earth and fall asleep with it. It is a rhythm that passes through every living being, through every person, through every blade of grass and every wave of water. It is the rhythm that makes it feel as though the Earth truly lives like a vast creature. Then there are the seasons, slow breathing cycles that last for months. Winter, a deep, long inhale when everything stops, when nature pauses as if closing its eyes. Spring, a gentle awakening when the Earth slowly opens its warm palms. Summer, the broad, expansive exhale full of light and life. Autumn, a soft, calm return to quiet. These cycles resemble the phases of sleep as we shift from deep sleep to light dreaming and back again. And so it continues endlessly. This immense symphony of motion, warmth, pulses, rhythms, all emanates from the Earth's core, the molten center that has rotated for billions of years. Its movement creates the magnetic field. Its heat lifts the mantle. its energy transforms the surface. The core is the heart of the planet, only it beats not in seconds but in millennia. And thanks to this heart, the Earth remains alive and active. When night comes, it feels as though the Earth itself rests a little. The air becomes quieter, winds soften, animals settle into stillness, plants close their leaves. Even the waves seem slower. If you listen to this nocturnal world with care, you may sense that the planet itself is drifting into a light sleep. Not true sleep, of course, but a rhythm reminding us of deep harmony. And you are part of this rhythm. Your breath aligns with its breath. Your sleep is a small part of nature's greater slumber. Your heart beats slowly in time with Earth's long, eternal pulses. You do not merely live on Earth, you live with it. You move, breathe, rest, all within one shared rhythm. And when you close your eyes, you come closer to that soft, ancient breathing of the planet, which has continued for 4.5 billion years, and will continue for countless ages more. Imagine walking along a misty trail that climbs higher and higher until it dissolves into the clouds. The air grows thinner, cooler, clearer. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the faint ringing of wind gliding across stone slopes. And in that moment, you understand that mountains are not merely rocks. They are the bones of the earth, a colossal skeleton upon which everything else rests. These stone ridges are the ancient spines of continents, lifted by millions of years of motion so slow, it feels as though it never happened at all. But mountains were not always as we see them today. Once, they were being born, young, sharp, like jagged teeth rising from the body of the planet. The formation of mountains is not a rapid process. It is a dialogue between tectonic plates that collide, push each other upward, bend and compress. Imagine two slow waves moving toward one another in a thick fluid. When they meet, the surface swells upward, forming a crest. This is how mountains emerge, as the result of movement of vast stone oceans beneath our feet. And every collision is a soft, ancient push that lifts the earth toward the sky. Some mountains are still growing today. While we sleep, rest, live our daily lives, their peaks rise ever so slightly, millimeter by millimeter. This movement is so quiet that no human has ever bent it to their will, never heard its sound. The Himalayas, young and restless, continue to rise. Their stone summits grow a little higher every year, as though the earth is still finishing its inhale and has not yet begun to exhale. This movement resembles the lifting chest of a person in deep sleep. Mountains are traces of that inhale, frozen in stone. But there were other mountains, ancient ones, long gone, worn away by time. Long before the Himalayas, the earth-borne mountain chains that were higher, more massive, more dramatic. They were giants that endured millions of years of rain, wind, ice. Their peaks once pierced the skies, but over time they wore down, becoming smooth, softened, like old bones polished tenderly by nature. Today we see only their remains, hills, rocky rises, small ridges that once were formidable summits. They resemble elders who were once strong and fierce and now rest quietly, holding within them the memory of their former greatness. Yet not all mountains are above the surface. Beneath the oceans, where sunlight never reaches and the world turns dark, exist underwater mountain chains far longer and higher than those we see on land. Mid-ocean ridges, continuous volcanic ranges, curve along the ocean floor for tens of thousands of kilometers. They are the hidden spinal cords of the Earth, supporting continents above. These mountains are deep bones, concealed beneath a single, endless ocean. They breathe molten rock, slowly forming new crust, and their life continues in full silence. If you go deeper still, into places no human has ever reached, you enter a world that feels like another dream. To imagine it, picture a depth where darkness becomes thick like fabric. Nowhere on the surface is there silence, like the silence in regions deeper than the Mariana Trench. Deeper than any ocean, deeper than any descent, lie the mantle zones. Vast regions of molten and solid rock that flow when viewed in the scale of millions of years. This is the Earth's slow dream. A dream where nothing happens, only movements stretched beyond comprehension. It is a realm where stone floats like heavy syrup, where the heat of the core warms the darkness, where there is no sound, no light, only slow, deep pulsation of the planet. The continents we call land are constantly traveling atop this inner ocean. We are used to thinking of terrain as something fixed, but it moves. Very slowly, almost imperceptibly, but it moves. Hundreds of meters in centuries, thousands of kilometers across millions of years. This movement is like sleepwalking, the Earth slowly shifting its stone limbs, reshaping itself. Once, Africa was connected to South America. India journeyed across the ocean to meet Asia. It is like a sleeping titan slowly changing position without waking. Within the Earth there are voids, huge spaces we will never see. They are called magma chambers, tectonic rifts, subterranean pockets. Some are filled with molten stone, others with air or water. These voids are like the lungs of the Earth, expanding, contracting, filling with heat, releasing it. Invisible chambers where energy gathers that will one day raise new mountains. And inside these voids exists absolute silence. A silence unlike any human silence, because it is eternal. It is like a pause between breaths. If we descend into more accessible depths, into caves shaped over thousands of years, we hear another story. Water droplets slowly fell from ceilings of stone hollows, leaving thin threads of mineral behind. Over centuries, they lengthened, thickened, forming stalactites and stalagmites. Every centimeter of these stone ornaments is the result of silence and patience. Caves are the breathing of the Earth, only extremely slow. Formed by the same processes as inhalation, water enters, leaves a piece of itself, and exits. And so it goes for thousands of years. When you stand inside a cave, it feels like being inside the body of the planet, inside its lungs formed drop by drop. Sometimes the Earth reveals its ancient power in the form of dormant volcanoes. These mountains were once alive, burning, violent, overflowing with fire. They spewed lava, created new land, reshaped the world. But then came quiet. The lava hardened, craters cooled, and the volcano became a monument, a stone memory of how fiercely the Earth's heart once beat. Such volcanoes resemble old scars, silent yet filled with stories of turbulent times. But mountains are not only memory and stone. They affect the weather, creating their own micro-realities. When wind encounters a mountain range, it rises, cools, and clouds are born. Sometimes rain falls only on one side of the mountain, while the other side remains sunny and dry. Mountains shape climate, feed rivers, hold fog, direct winds. They are like colossal conductors of the atmosphere, altering the invisible movements of air to create their own rhythm of weather. And the higher you climb, the quieter the world becomes. The air grows thinner, the sounds softer. The summit of a mountain is a place where you can hear your own breath as if you were standing right beside the earth's heart. The wind moves through rocks like fingers sliding along a stone harp, and everything around you feels ancient, calm, slow. Mountains are the memory of the earth. Depths are its dreams. Caves are its breathing. Subterranean fire is its heart. And all of this lives, moves gently, forms and dissolves in an immense, peaceful rhythm that never ceases. When you lie in your bed at night, the earth moves, breathes, grows. And you are part of its movement, part of its silence, part of its endless story. Imagine a vast expanse of water stretching out to the horizon, so wide that the eye finds no boundary and the mind stops trying to form edges. This is the ocean, the quiet, deep blanket of the earth that covers almost its entire surface. 7 of every 10 parts of our planet are water, endlessly moving, shifting, yet still calm in its essence. If the earth is a living organism, then the oceans are both its skin and its breath. They hold warmth, gather light, absorb the noises of the world. And when you look at the surface of the ocean, you are looking at a slow, shimmering fabric that has been moving for billions of years. But beneath this smooth surface lies a realm that seems almost unbelievable to human eyes. Where sunlight penetrates only a few dozen meters, life teems with colors and quiet motion. Below that, at depths of hundreds of meters, light vanishes and a world of eternal twilight begins. Deeper still, absolute darkness, dense and soft like velvet night. The deepest areas of the ocean stretch downward so far, it feels as though you are gazing into the void of another world. The Mariana Trench, one of the deepest places on Earth, plunges so far that if you placed Mount Everest inside it, its summit would still lie kilometers below the surface. Yet the depths are not emptiness. They are the ocean's slow dream. There, where pressure is immense and temperature approaches freezing, live creatures that glow with gentle light. Bioluminescence. It is the breath of the depths, their language, their way of saying, I am here. When tiny organisms light up, they resemble stars in a night sky. Only these stars are not above you, but around you. Their glow lasts only a moment, like a breath, but it makes darkness less absolute. And if you could be there, you would see a dance of living light, gentle, fluid, slow, like the breathing of a sleeping giant. But light is not the only hidden force. Down below exist currents, vast, powerful rivers of water that carry warmth, cold, nutrients. These currents resemble the circulatory system of the Earth. They flow through the entire ocean, linking it as one body. Warm currents lift air upward, spawning fog and clouds. Cold currents bring life to places where it is scarce. And all this movement happens slowly, unseen, yet with immense power. These underwater rivers are soft impulses, like the heartbeat of the planet. When a current moves, it carries the ocean's memory of where the water was born, which winds pushed it, what journeys it has taken. And there are underwater waterfalls, enormous, silent flows mightier than any waterfall on land. They form where dense, cold water sinks downward while warmer water rises. These waterfalls cannot be heard by the human ear. They descend in total silence, without splashing or roaring, their movement resembling the motion of dreams. Imagine a cascade of water as tall as a mountain, falling through gentle darkness, like a slowly descending curtain of night. These are boundaries of temperature, density, and current. Boundaries that shift, but do so softly, as if someone touches the water's surface with an invisible hand. Above them, in layers where sunlight still reaches, live underwater forests. Forests of kelp, coral, branching forms that resemble trees. These forests sway like grass in the wind. Only here the wind is the gentle motion of water. Every branch reaches upward to the light, to the warmth, as though yearning to awaken. Some underwater forests are so tall they resemble vast submerged groves rising upward like ladders of light. They are home to hundreds of species: small fish, slow snails, transparent shrimp like pieces of glass. They move softly, almost invisibly, and the entire forest lives in the rhythm of water, gentle and flowing. But the water of the ocean is not uniform. There are old waters, ancient waters. They travel through the oceans for hundreds or thousands of years before rising again to the surface. It is like an eternal cycle of memory. These deep waters hold traces of the past, of temperature, salinity, motion. And when they return upward, they bring with them ancient stories of the ocean. It is like the breath of an old sage, slow, calm, and filled with knowledge of what once was. And there are underwater deserts, boundless stretches of sand where there are no algae, no coral. Down there, dunes form like the waves of the Sahara. They shift slowly under the influence of currents, and their movement is like that of sands on land. These are quiet regions of the ocean where life exists, but in rare, delicate forms. These deserts are like pauses in breathing, moments of stillness between waves of life. But the ocean is not only movement, it is also sound. Underwater, one can hear low, deep vibrations resembling song. The rustle of sand, the motion of waves overhead, the rumble of distant volcanoes, the songs of whales. Some sounds are so quiet that they can only be detected with instruments, soft hums of the earth itself. This is the voice of the ocean, its whisper, its exhale. The oceans are the conductors of weather. They store warmth, release it, create clouds. When warm water heats the air, it rises and gives birth to wind. When water cools, the air weakens and the wind fades. Ocean water moves up and down like breath, and our climate, our seasons, our rains and fogs depend on it. The ocean is a vast engine that moves not only its own waters, but the atmosphere as well. And it all happens in a soft rhythm, which too can be called breathing. Seen from space, the oceans look like deep, soft folds of blue fabric. They wrap the planet, protect it, cool it, warm it, moisten it. This fabric never lies still. It breathes, stirs, shimmers. Currents are the ocean's dreams, glowing beings, its stars. Underwater forests, its gardens, and deepest trenches, its quietest thoughts. And if you have ever stood by the sea at night and heard the slow arrival of waves onto the shore, you have heard the voice of the earth. A voice that repeats again and again like a calming mantra. Come, go, come, go. It is a rhythm that lulls you, as though the planet itself were whispering to you. Everything is all right. Breathe. I am here. And in that moment, you become part of the great ancient ocean that has been moving for billions of years. Part of its water once was rain that touched the face of a dinosaur. Part was ice in the Arctic. Part was a droplet reflecting the light of the moon. All these waters, all these movements, all these dreams now carry you. And you lie in silence, listening to the breathing of the world. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest. Before you lies green silence, soft and deep like a still lake without wind. The shadows of trees stretch across the ground in long lines, as if the forest is pulling its gentle thoughts toward the horizon. Here, everything slows down. Everything lives in its own rhythm. A rhythm not loud but slow, extended in time. The forest does not hurry. It breathes. Its breath is soft, like the light mist rising above the earth at dawn. And if you press your ear against the bark of a tree, you can almost hear how it lives, quietly, deeply, evenly. Every tree is a pillar of breath. Leaves gather sunlight and turn it into air. When wind gently runs across branches, the leaves move as though the forest is performing a slow, flowing yoga exercise. This movement is part of a vast breathing process of the earth. Forests produce the oxygen we breathe, and they do so calmly, like singing a song without sound. If you could hear photosynthesis, it would sound like the soft whisper of millions of tiny beings working together to sustain life. But the forest is not only a young organism. In it live trees that are hundreds, even thousands of years old. Some pines and redwoods were already mature when the first cities of Europe were being built. They stand motionless, like guardians of ancient knowledge. On their bark, traces of time. In their cracks, the memory of storms. In their rings, entire histories. These trees are elders who have survived eras. And when you look at them, it feels as though you are looking at a face that has been watching the world for centuries. They grow slowly, patiently, as if each new ring is another quiet breath, another long chapter of existence. Beneath the ground, hidden from human sight, exists another form of life. The fungal network that binds trees and plants into one gentle, interconnected system. It is a true underground web, like a neural network through which signals flow. Trees can warn one another of danger, share nutrients, support weaker trunks. It is a silent, invisible world of communication beneath every step. The fungal threads are like slender veins connecting the forest organism into a single whole. And when wind moves across treetops, movement also occurs beneath the earth, but very slowly, almost imperceptibly, like an endless whisper. Every plant grows according to a rhythm that cannot be accelerated. Growth is a long process built on patience. A thin stem reaches toward the light millimeter by millimeter, slowly, as if listening to every ray. A tree lifts its branches upward for decades, sometimes centuries, like taking a breath that lasts for ages. This process is so calm that when you stand beside a growing tree, it feels as though time is slowing down. And in that slowing, there is something soothing, a reminder that everything meaningful happens gradually. At night, the forest sounds different than by day. When the sun hides and the air becomes cooler, denser, the trees begin to sing, not with sound, but with shifts. Their trunks slightly contract and expand in response to the changing temperature. Leaves fold, flowers close, moisture reshapes itself. Into this silence weave the sounds of nocturnal beings. Soft footsteps, quiet rustlings, faint breathing. If you listen carefully, you can feel how the forest breathes deeper at night than during the day, like a person entering a deeper stage of sleep. The forest's night is nature's slow slumber, filled with movements barely visible, yet full of life. Forests regulate climate. They hold moisture, soften winds, shield the earth from heat. They create their own weather, as though an enormous green fabric covers the land and guides the flow of air. Where forests stand, the air is purer, the rain gentler, the winds calmer. The forest acts like a giant lung that exhales cool, damp air and inhales dry air. This rhythm influences rivers, clouds, fog. The forest is the home of rains, and when you think of it as a living being, you understand that it does not simply grow, it cares. It cares for what surrounds it, the soil, the water, the air. Every tree holds a story. Inside its rings are not just lines, but whole years of life written into dense wood. Wide rings speak of wet, warm seasons. Narrow rings of cold, dry ones. And when scientists study those rings, they read the history of climate. The tree becomes a chronicle of how the world has changed. If you press your palm to the trunk, you can almost feel a faint vibration of time encoded in its layers. These rings are the steps a tree takes along its path. Each year, a new imprint, a new mark, a new soft layer of memory. Flowers live in their own little rhythm. They open in the morning and close at night, always facing the sun. Some plants follow the movement of light so precisely, it is as though they have eyes. They turn their petals, bend their stems to capture each possible ray. It looks like a dance, slow, almost unseen, yet full of motion. Even when no one is watching, flowers continue to perform their dance of light, as if following a quiet inner music. There are plants in nature that glow at night. Bioluminescent moss, mushrooms, algae. Their shine is faint, barely detectable, but in darkness it appears like little lights hidden in the depth of the forest. It is not a bright glow, but a tender illumination, as though the forest smiles with a gentle smile. Standing among such plants feels like being in a fairy tale, in a silent night where every leaf might light up with its own tiny flame. It is not light meant to show a path. It is light meant to remind us of the forest's secrets. Sometimes forests disappear beneath water. Submerged forests. These are ancient groves that once stood on dry ground until the waters rose and the trees remained beneath its surface. Some of these forests still stand, frozen in posture, surrounded by water like ghosts of the past. Their trunks are covered with algae. Their branches become homes for fish. They look like a dream that nature forgot to dissolve. These forests remind us that nothing vanishes entirely. Everything simply changes form, remaining part of Earth's greater breathing. The forest is nature's dream. Slow, deep, filled with secrets. Every leaf is an inhale. Every trunk is a memory. Every root thread is a connection. And when you stand inside a forest, you stand in the heart of a living organism that has been breathing for millions of years. Its breath becomes yours. Its silence becomes yours. Its slow rhythm helps you slow down, feel depth, hear your own heart. And in that moment you understand that a forest is not simply a place. It is a state of soft, endless quiet in which one can find peace. a state of nature reminding us everything grows slowly, everything follows its own path, everything has its rhythm. Imagine standing at the edge of a great desert. Before you lies an endless sea of sand. But this is not a sea that roars and splashes. It is a sea that moves in silence. The dunes rise and fall like waves frozen in golden light. Their lines curve softly, as though someone is brushing a gentle stroke across a vast canvas. And yet, despite the stillness, they are always changing. Grain by grain, millimeter by millimeter, the dunes slowly drift forward, like waves of a giant breath of the earth. Every dune is a trace of the wind. Here, the wind is an artist painting not with color, but with motion. It touches the sand, lifts it, carries it, and lays it down again, creating shapes that look like the ribs of nature, the folds of ancient waves. And if you gaze at those lines long enough, you begin to feel that the desert is alive. Its life is not in sudden movements or quick bursts, but in slow, deep transitions from one form to another. It seems to be sleeping, yet constantly shifting its posture in the dream. Sometimes, when wind passes over certain ridges, the desert begins to sing. The singing sands are one of nature's strangest and softest wonders. Grains of sand rubbing against one another produce a sound, deep, vibrating, reminiscent of a musical instrument playing itself. This sound resembles the voice of a distant sea, though all around is only sand. It can be as soft as a whisper or as deep as a resonant hum. And when you stand within this acoustic wave, it feels as though the desert is speaking to you, sharing its ancient, weary wisdom. But beneath these sands lies the past. Under some deserts rest ancient lakes, bodies of water that existed thousands of years ago. Time dried their surfaces, the sun evaporated the moisture, but beneath several layers of sand, water may still linger. Some deserts were once green, filled with rivers, lakes, animals. And when scientists peer into their depths, they find traces of those waters. Shells, minerals, shorelines. The desert is not emptiness, it is memory. It remembers its water, its storms, its rivers. And this memory rests deep beneath the surface, like a forgotten song still echoing in its quietest places. Are deserts alive? Yes. Only their life is different from what we expect. Here, plants live for decades, sometimes centuries, waiting for a single rainfall. Here, animals create their own rhythms, living, hunting, and hiding beneath the earth. Here, the air itself lives in temperature, becoming hot and almost invisible by day, and cold as glass by night. Temperature here is not just a condition, it is the desert's breath. It warms as if taking a long inhale, and cools as if releasing a deep exhale. This breathing is so powerful it reshapes the land itself. The temperature rhythms in deserts are extraordinary. By day, the sand can be fiery hot, and by night, icy. This contrast is like a thermal bath taken by the landscape. Rocks crack, sand constricts, the air grows heavy. And in these transitions lies a melody, the ancient capacity of nature to adapt, transform, renew. The desert lives through contrast, blazing in the day, calming at night. And each cycle is another breath. Deserts are full of winds, not just breezes, but grand wind tunnels, streams of air that sweep across immense distances, forming invisible roads. They shape dunes, carry dust, create spirals that climb high into the sky. Sometimes the wind lifts such immense masses of sand that they travel across oceans, landing on other continents. These air currents are like rivers in the sky. They move always, as if obeying the quiet command of the earth. Sometimes stones in the desert move on their own. In places where the surface is coated with thin layers of ice and clay, stones can slide several meters at night. They leave behind long tracks, as though someone were gently pushing them in the darkness. But no one touched them. This motion is the work of wind, ice, water, temperature. The desert itself seems to rearrange them, altering its composition in secret. There are deserts so silent that you hear your own breath louder than usual. There are no birds, no insects, no wind, only thick, heavy, absolute silence. In such silence, you can hear your heart. You can hear your thoughts grow softer. You can feel the world become calmer as sound disappears. It is a silence that does not oppress, but embraces. A silence that holds peace. And yet the desert is not isolated. It is connected to other corners of the planet. Dust from the Sahara, lifted by wind, travels thousands of kilometers and falls over the tropical forests of the Amazon. That dust is nourishment, minerals that feed ancient trees, grasses, plants. Dry land of one part of the world feeds the green life of another. And in this exchange, one can sense the singular breathing of the planet, as if the desert is sharing its strength with the forest, as if the world is bound by threads woven of wind. And at night, the desert changes completely. When the sun sinks below the horizon, the sands cool quickly. The air becomes clean and clear. The sky opens, and you see millions of stars, as though someone has opened a great doorway into the cosmos. Night deserts are places of deep shadows and cold light. The stars reflect in the sand, creating the illusion that you are standing between two heavens, above and below. In the night desert, you feel infinity. You feel you are part of the vast breathing of the universe. The desert is the whisper of the planet. The wind is its voice. The dunes are its thoughts. The sands are its memories. The night stars are its dreams. The desert teaches slowness. It teaches patience. It teaches the listening of silence. When you stand among the sands, you stand in a place where time flows differently, where each breath becomes deeper, where each step becomes softer, where each thought dissolves into endlessness. And into that endlessness, the desert gently receives you as part of its greater, ancient breath. Imagine a world where the air becomes so clean it feels almost weightless. A world where cold does not threaten, but softens all unnecessary noise, leaving behind only silence, like a deep inhalation before sleep. These are the polar regions, two immense white realms at the ends of the earth, north and south, the Arctic and Antarctica. Their landscapes are the breath of the planet, cold, transparent, slow. The air here is so clear, it seems you can see the very thought of nature passing by. In these lands, sometimes the sky awakens, the northern and southern lights, luminous curtains unfolding in stillness. They appear suddenly, as if someone opens vast drapes of color across the sky. Green, violet, rose-colored waves of light move slowly, as though performing a dance choreographed by the universe itself. There is no sound to them. Their dance is silent and gentle, And as you watch, it feels as if the light itself is breathing, rising, falling, brightening, fading. The auroras are the breathing of the cosmos, reflected upon the cold face of the earth. Beneath this mesmerizing sky lie ice domes, enormous masses of frozen water stretching kilometers thick. They expand and contract to rhythms that last thousands of years. These ice domes do not simply rest upon the ground. They press, pull, and bend it. They are ancient monoliths that hold within them the memory of every snowflake that ever fell upon their surface. If you could run your hand along their sides, you would feel a cold deeper than ordinary frost. This is the cold of time, the cold of antiquity, a cold that does not harm, but instead brings clarity. Yet these domes are not motionless. Glaciers, their extensions, slowly flow. It seems impossible. How can such weight move? But it does. Inch by inch, day by day, century by century. They creep down mountainsides, slide toward the sea, push stones aside, carve valleys. Glaciers are white rivers moving so slowly that to human eyes the motion seems non-existent. But if you were to observe across many lifetimes, you would see these ice rivers gently altering the face of the world. You would see how cold breathes, sculpting the land. Sometimes the ice produces sound, long cracks, deep sighs, soft clicks. This is the breathing of the ice. When temperatures change, ice expands, then contracts. It grows, glides, fractures, and then freezes again. These sounds resemble an old house settling, only this house is the size of an entire continent. The ice breathes slowly, heavily, yet vividly. Its breath is like a low, calm rhythm running through the thickness of time. Within these frozen realms lie ice crystals millions of years old, older than humanity, older than rivers, older than many mountains. Inside them, trapped bubbles of ancient air, sealed in the era when Earth looked entirely different. Scientists say that within this ancient air, one can hear the breathing of our planet from the past. Imagine, in each tiny bubble lies a moment that occurred long before cities, language, and history. It is like holding a shard of Earth's ancient dream in your hand. But perhaps the most astonishing secrets lie beneath the ice, in subglacial lakes. They have never known sunlight. Some are covered by kilometers of ice, and no human has ever seen their surface. Yet in these lakes there is water, liquid, warm, living its own life for thousands of years in total darkness. Some lakes are so ancient that they have been isolated from the rest of the world for millions of years. And through all that time, something may have existed there. Water, chemistry, perhaps life. These lakes are like hidden thoughts of the earth, deep, unspoken, mysterious. When a person enters the polar regions, the first striking sensation is the silence. Polar silence is unique. It is so dense it feels as though the air itself thickens. Nothing breaks it. There are no engines, no birds, sometimes not even wind, only rare, faint movements of air. This silence does not intimidate. It wraps around you like a blanket around someone sleeping. Polar silence is the Earth's rest, a space where the world speaks not with words, but with pauses. A space where you can hear your own soul. Yet even here there is movement. The ice migrates. It drifts across the ocean, collides, breaks, floats onward. Huge icebergs like white mountains travel for hundreds of kilometers. Some are larger than cities. When they flip, a deep roar is heard, as though the earth itself is shifting in its bed. Icebergs have their own lives. They are born of glaciers, wander the sea, melt, disappear. And every such migration is part of the slow journey of cold across the globe. Polar light is special. In summer, the sun does not set at all. The day stretches into one long, gentle brightness, where the light changes tone but never ceases. This light is like a soft lamp burning through what would otherwise be night, preventing darkness from fully reclaiming the land. In winter, the polar night arrives, long, deep, velvety. Months of darkness, where only stars and auroras illuminate the expanse. These seasonal cycles are like inhalation and exhalation. The polar day, a long, extended exhale of light. The polar night, a deep inhale of darkness. Snowy deserts in the polar regions appear completely empty, but this is not emptiness. It is purity. White fields stretch for miles without a single color besides the soft hue of light itself. The snow does not merely lie there, it lives. It glistens in polar sun, compresses underfoot, shimmers beneath the wind. Snow deserts are infinity made visible, silence made spacious. They are the Earth's white thought. The polar regions are the breathing of cold, pure, calm, profound. Cold here does not destroy, it soothes. It slows everything it touches, turning movement into a slow dance. It clarifies the world like glass. And when you stand within these immense white spaces, when the only sound you hear is your own inhale in the cold air, when you watch the aurora moving like a dream of light, you feel that Earth is not merely a planet, it is a living being. And here, at its edges, you hear its breathing most clearly. Imagine that you are standing at the top of a high mountain. The wind touches your face softly, as though a delicate, silky fabric is gliding across your skin. The air here is crisp, pure, almost transparent. And in that moment you feel the world around you is alive. Not only the ground beneath your feet, not only the ocean waters, the air itself lives. A vast, invisible ocean that drapes the earth in a shimmering veil. The atmosphere is the planet's breath. It is thin by cosmic standards, like a gentle scarf laid over the sphere of the earth. And yet this veil holds life, warmth, light, motion. It protects us from the cold darkness of space, warms us, fills our lungs. When we look at the sky, we are looking at a layer of air only a few dozen kilometers thick, astonishingly little compared to the size of the planet. And yet, it is enough to generate an entire world of light. Why do we see the sky as blue? It is one of nature's softest illusions. Sunlight passing through the atmosphere is scattered by the molecules of air. The blue wavelength scatters more than the others, and so it fills the space above us. The blue sky is not the color of the air itself, but a gentle game of light, calm and serene like a sigh. If we lived on another planet, the sky might be green, or pink, or even golden. But Earth chose blue, the color of rest, quiet, sleep. Within the air are its own oceans. They are invisible, but real. Vast bodies of air move above us, around us, through us, like waves of a hidden sea. These air masses may be warm and light like summer wind, or cold and heavy like winter's breath. They flow from place to place, blending, bringing moisture or dryness. And each such current carries with it a story, a memory of the places over which it passed. The wind is the world writing a letter to itself, a letter containing scents, pollen, warmth, cold, the whispers of forests, the salty exhale of the sea. This is why wind is called the memory of the planet. It carries traces of deserts, aromas of forests, the salt of oceans. When it touches your skin, it brings you a fragment of another place, perhaps thousands of kilometers away. The wind knows everything. Where it is cold right now, where it is hot, where the rains are falling. The wind is a wanderer, a nomad that never stops traveling around the earth. It can be gentle and barely detectable, like a sigh, or strong and powerful, like the breath of a giant. But not only near the surface do the currents exist. In the upper layers of the atmosphere flow high-altitude rivers, strong jets of air moving at hundreds of kilometers per hour. These stratospheric rivers govern the weather. They direct cyclones, move clouds, shape storms. Sometimes they are narrow and swift, like taut strings. Sometimes broad and languid, like flowing ribbons. If we could see them with our eyes, we would behold endless silvery bands streaming above the world high in the sky. Air currents connect the world. They carry moisture from oceans deep into continents, sweep over mountain peaks, cool valleys. They can bring the scent of rain long before rain arrives. They can transport Sahara sand to South America, pollen across the ocean, smoke from forest fires into other lands. Air is a network connecting every corner of the earth, silent and constant. There are places on Earth where the air is especially pure, so pure it feels almost new. These are the high plateaus of Antarctica, remote islands of the Pacific, mountain summits untouched by cities. There the air smells of cold, of salt, of altitude. Each molecule seems to glow with clarity. And when you inhale such air, it feels like the first breath after long rest. Pure air is like a pure thought. It soothes, cleanses, brings clarity. Yet despite its gentleness, air is not always quiet. It can sound. In the atmosphere are low, slow, deep vibrations. Atmospheric whispers born from wind moving over land, from waves pressing against air, from storms rolling across the sky. Most of these sounds we never hear. They are too deep, but they are there. They form atmospheric resonance, the quiet hum of the planet, a vibration that never ceases. You could call it the music of the air, the music of the world, felt not by ears but by skin. Sometimes waves move through the air, not waves of water, but waves of atmosphere. They lift masses of air upward, then downward, traveling across the sky and sculpting clouds. These waves may be vast and subtle, stretching across thousands of kilometers. They resemble gentle ripples in the blanket that covers the earth. When they pass, pressure changes, temperature shifts slightly, and clouds form strange shapes. This is the breathing of the sky, its pulses, its murmurs. And finally, lightning. Sometimes high above the clouds appear rare bursts of light, sprites. Red or blue glimmers arising at heights of tens of kilometers. They resemble ghostly flowers opening for a split second before fading. They cannot be predicted, cannot be tracked. They live for mere instants. But these flashes remind us that air is not emptiness. It is filled with energy, moving, living, flickering like light in a dream. When we say that air is the fabric that wraps the earth, we do not exaggerate. It is light, gentle, mobile. It shields us from cosmic cold, shapes climate, fills the lungs of every living creature. It is an inseparable part of the great being called Earth. This fabric is invisible, yet it can be felt. Every inhale is a touch upon it. Every breeze is its motion. Every cloud is its adornment. Air is life. Air is motion. Air is connection between all places of the world. And when you stand beneath the blue sky, feeling the wind softly touch your face, you understand. You are breathing together with the earth. You feel its pulse in every breath. You hear its music in every gust. The living air is its tender, endless song. And it plays around you, always. Imagine that you are standing on a stone. An ordinary stone. Gray, rough, slightly cool to the touch. But if this stone could speak, it would tell you a story billions of years long. It was here when the oceans were first being born. It saw mountains rise and later vanish. It remembers a time when the earth was entirely different. Stones are pages in the book of time. A book written by the planet, slowly, unhurriedly, as if in a deep dream. The earth has always been changing. From the very moment of its birth, it spun, formed, heated, cooled. Its surface was once liquid, then became solid. Its atmosphere was once poisonous, then became breathable. Its oceans were barren at first, then full of life. If we imagine the history of the planet as one long day, human civilization would appear only in the final second. Everything before that is Earth's time. Its deep, slow dream. Climate changes are part of that dream. The Earth has been hotter than today and colder than today. It is known ages when the entire planet was wrapped in ice, like a giant white sphere drifting through space. It is known ages when its entire surface was warm like a tropical sea. The climate never stood still. It breathed. It contracted and expanded like the chest of a giant. One era came, another passed, and each was a chapter in the long story of the Earth. Ice ages were the moments when the Earth's breath turned cold. Glaciers advanced, covering enormous stretches of land, building walls of ice kilometers thick. The world became white, quiet, frozen. Life retreated toward the equator, hiding from the cold. And then, after thousands of years, the ice began to fade back, as though the Earth exhaled warmth. The glaciers melted, and the world awakened again. These cycles happened again and again, an inhale and exhale of time, slowing and quickening, but never stopping. Continents are living travelers. They drift across the Earth's surface like ships across a sea. Today they seem still, but once Africa was joined to South America. Australia rested beside Antarctica. India moved slowly northward until it collided with Asia, pushing up the Himalayas. This movement is driven by tectonic forces deep within the Earth. Continents sail, collide, separate, rejoin. They do not hurry. Their journey is one of thousands of millennia. They are like dreams, slowly flowing into each other. Sometimes the Earth even shifts its magnetic poles. North becomes south, and south becomes north. This does not happen in a moment. The poles wander. Their strength changes. The lines of the magnetic field distort, like fabric gently moved by an unseen hand. This phenomenon is like changing the rhythm of breathing, shifting from one tempo to another. When the poles reverse, the Earth does not collapse or cease to be itself. It simply reorganizes, like a sleeping being changing its position. Even the length of a day changes. Millions of years ago, a day on Earth was not 24 hours long, but only 21. The planet spun faster. Over time, it slowly slowed, by tiny fractions of seconds, but over eons, that difference accumulates. The day becomes a little longer, the night a little deeper. This too is part of Earth's long breath, a pulsation of time in which every moment stretches across millions of years. And if we imagine Earth as a living being, its steps become softer, its movements gentler. The history of the oceans is another strand in this vast tapestry. Oceans were born, widened, disappeared. Some seas that were once vast and teeming with life are now buried beneath land. Vast deposits of salt hidden deep underground are remnants of ancient bodies of water that evaporated long before humans existed. Some oceans had entirely different shapes than they do now. Their currents flowed differently, their shorelines lay elsewhere. And each ocean was part of the grand choreography of tectonics, climate, and time. Vanished seas are forgotten dreams of the earth. Where now lies desert, once lay deep water. Where grasslands now stretch, coral reefs once thrived. And all of this disappeared, quietly, peacefully, like a dream fading at morning's arrival. Earth left traces of these seas in layers of stone, in fossil shells, in stripes of salt. Each trace is like a memory. Once here there was life, water, light. The atmosphere too has changed. Billions of years ago it was thick, toxic, full of gases we could never breathe. Then microbes began transforming it, releasing oxygen. Plants continued that work. Earth's atmosphere is an artwork created by living beings, and each stage of it was a new sentence in the story of the planet. Today we live in its soft, friendly version, but it was not always so. It is the result of a long, slow journey. Earth cycles repeat. Ice comes and goes. Continents approach and separate. Oceans open and close. The air changes its composition. Time flows forward, but nature's motions recur. Like a poem, the earth recites endlessly, each epic adding its own inflection. Sometimes these cycles move slowly, sometimes a little faster, but every one of them is part of the rhythm. A rhythm like a slow, eternal lullaby. If you listen to the earth, you can hear how softly it lives through time, how every moment leads naturally into the next, how every age fades, making space for another, how all the past dissolves into the present, and the present becomes the future. The earth never stands still. It never freezes. It never falls silent. It lives, slowly, deeply, peacefully, just as dreams flow, just as breath flows. And when you look at the stars, contemplating how long this world has existed, you become part of that time, part of its flow, part of its soft, endless movement. Imagine that you are looking at the earth, not through human eyes, but through the eyes of nature itself. Attentive, calm, seeing not only the surface, most of life on our planet is hidden. It lives in places where human sight never falls, in spaces that exist quietly, deeply, unnoticed. These invisible worlds are like the Earth's dreams. They are happening constantly, but we rarely notice them because we are too accustomed to looking at the world from above. But the moment you slow down, close your eyes, and listen, you feel that beneath you, around you, above you exist endless secret universes. On the surface of the soil live microbial forests, tiny yet incredibly complex ecosystems. If you shrank to the size of a speck of dust, you would see that every grain of sand is covered with invisible trees, invisible plants, invisible beings. Millions of microbes create entire landscapes, little hills, valleys, rivulets, unseen by the human eye. Their world is a world of quiet processes. They break down soil, nourish roots, create a foundation for life. These microbial forests are like miniature copies of great forests, existing in a slow, continuous flow. Deeper beneath the earth lies another universe, subterranean bacteria. They live where there is no light, where pressure is immense, and temperatures may be scorching or frozen. These bacteria are among the oldest forms of life on the planet. Some of them can exist where life seems impossible. They feed on minerals, metals, chemical compounds. Their world is one of silence and darkness. And yet in this darkness, life thrives. Slow, viscous, persistent. It resembles the breath of the earth flowing deep within it. There are places where life emerges in boiling sources, in hot waters rising from the depths of the planet. These springs can be so hot, the water nearly becomes steam. And yet bacteria, archaea, microorganisms still live within them. Their world is a world of fire. They thrive under conditions that would destroy most other life. Their bodies are adapted to temperatures that seem impossible. And yet there, in those boiling waters, exists a small, hidden paradise for those who know how to live in extremity. It feels like the pulse of a dream, bright bursts of life between long silences. Under kilometers of ice, where there is no light, no warmth, no air, life exists as well. In certain subglacial lakes, hidden beneath 2, 3, 4 kilometers of ice, tiny organisms have lived in total darkness for thousands of years. They feed on chemical elements drifting softly from the ice. Their world is one of light that doesn't exist physically, but exists as chemical energy. Their existence is like a dream no one has ever seen. Life hidden from everything above, but just as real as life on the surface. And where there is no sunlight, there is another kind of light, bioluminescence. Living creatures capable of emitting their own glow, as though carrying tiny lamps inside. In the ocean, millions of tiny organisms create a soft blue radiance. Sometimes, if you disturb the water at night, you see it begin to glow, as though someone laid a layer of starlight beneath the surface. It is celestial fire translated into sea. Bioluminescence is the language of the nocturnal ocean, the whisper of invisible worlds speaking in light rather than sound. But invisible light exists not only in the ocean. Even the atmosphere glows at times. This faint luminescence, invisible to the naked eye, is always present. It is called air glow, a soft, constant shimmer born from interactions between solar particles and molecules of air. This glow is the breath of the atmosphere. It resembles a dim halo wrapped around the planet like a thin ribbon of light. It is the light that exists even in the darkest nights, quiet, faint, like a subtle smile of the sky. In the ocean, there is plankton, tiny organisms that become the light of the night. They respond to movement, flashing into bright blue sparks. When a wave breaks on shore, it may glow. When a boat passes, it leaves a trail of shining wake. Plankton is living light, bursting for an instant, as if the ocean occasionally opens its eyes while dreaming. It is one of the gentlest and most beautiful gestures of nature, light born from touch. And where the ocean reaches its greatest depths, in thermal fields of the seafloor, life takes on stranger forms. Geysers of boiling water and gas burst from the seabed, surrounded by creatures living in total darkness and immense pressure. These beings feed on chemical plumes rising from Earth's interior. Their world is one of heat and shadow, life operating in full defiance of what we consider normal. It is like the pulse of a dream that never stops. There are other hidden ecosystems, subterranean ones. In caves where no sunlight reaches, insects, fungi, bacteria thrive. They create entire food chains that function autonomously without any external light. In some caves, water runs for centuries, shaping unique forms of life. The silence of such places is so absolute, it seems as though time itself can be heard flowing. These underground worlds are like forgotten chambers inside a vast house, where life continues quietly without witnesses. Even in clouds, there is life. In droplets of water live bacteria carried on the wind. They rise from the ocean's surface, sweep over mountains, descend with rain. Their path is a journey through the sky. Their home is neither land nor sea, but air. And when clouds drift across the heavens, within them too moves a whisper of life. Soft, invisible, constant. All these worlds, microscopic and enormous, silent and boiling, burning and frozen, exist simultaneously. They intertwine without noticing each other. They generate life, sustain it, support it. They are the foundation of everything we see, and yet they themselves remain unseen, hidden, secret. Invisible worlds are the dreams of Earth. They happen deep beneath us, high above us, beside us. We live in their presence without knowing it. And if we could see everything happening in every millimeter of the planet, we would see that Earth is a vast organism living through billions of breaths. Each breath, the life of a microbe. Each motion, the journey of a bacterium. Each glow, the voice of the ocean. When you close your eyes and listen to the silence, you are not hearing emptiness. You are hearing the whisper of invisible worlds that never sleep. Imagine you are walking along a path that carries you through the most wondrous corners of Earth. This is not a journey across a map. This is a journey through beauty. A beauty so quiet and soft that it feels like deep sleep. The world you enter seems unreal, yet it exists. It has always existed, simply hidden from sight until you learn to look slowly, gently, attentively. It is in these places that the earth whispers its calmest secrets. Somewhere on the other side of the world, there are pink lakes, waters colored as if painted with an artist's brush. Their hues range from strawberry milk and pearlescent salmon to deep rose. But it is not illusion or magic. It is tiny organisms living in salty water that give the lakes their unusual tone, turning the surface into an enormous pastel mirror. Standing on the shore of such a lake, you feel as if you've stepped into a dream where water isn't blue, but pink, and the sky reflects in it like polished glass. The silence there seems even quieter than elsewhere, as though the color itself thickens the air. There are places where stone becomes wave. Stone waves, petrified motion. Huge curved slabs of rock look as if they were once liquid and flowing like water. They froze mid-movement, as though nature stopped time and allowed the wave to remain forever in mid-rise. When you look at these formations, you can feel an ancient breath in them. They remind you that even stone can be soft if you look slowly enough, that the world is far more malleable than it appears. High in the atmosphere, nacreous clouds are sometimes born. They shine with pastel radiance, rippling pinks, blues, and greens. Their surfaces resemble soap bubbles stretched across the sky. These clouds appear rarely, as if a gift. They emerge only in the coldest days when the air becomes crystal clear. Looking at them is like staring into the inside of a seashell, only the size of heaven itself. And in that moment, the world feels a little more fragile, a little more enchanted. There are nights when a rainbow can be seen from the light of the moon. A lunar rainbow, a quiet silver arc that forms only when the air is full of moisture and the moon is bright. It is much fainter than a solar rainbow. Its colors are almost dissolved in white radiance. Sometimes it appears as a nearly white band, as if the night paints its own bridge in the sky. A reminder that even in darkness there are colors. They are simply very quiet. Deep inside the earth exist caves of light. In certain countries, where colonies of bioluminescent creatures live, caves at night become starry skies, only underground. Thousands of glowing points cling to the ceiling, as if someone pinned tiny blue lanterns to the stone. The lights are so gentle that they feel like the cave's own breath. They do not illuminate like a torch. They create an atmosphere like a small inner universe. Standing in such a cave, you feel suspended between two worlds, the world of Earth and the world of cosmos. There are waterfalls of eternal mist. Their peculiarity is that water, falling from great height or meeting strong winds, does not descend in sharp streams, but transforms into a constant, soft haze. It hangs in the air like weightless smoke. Sometimes rainbow halos appear above such waterfalls. Sometimes sunlight turns the mist into golden glow. This mist feels like the mountain's breath, light, humid, transparent. When you walk close, droplets settle on your face like cold kisses of the air. Deep beneath the ground, in immense cavern halls, crystals grow. Some so large that a person seems as small as a child beside them. Huge, transparent spears rise from the earth like frozen blades of ice. They grow over thousands of years, enriched by minerals, repeating one gentle gesture of nature: crystallization. Inside these chambers there is warmth, silence, and light that refracts as if a sunset has solidified within. These places remind us that beauty is not always on the surface. Sometimes it rests in the depths, like a precious thought we forgot. On high plateaus or frozen deserts, one can find ice needles, penitentes. They rise upward like pale petals, stretching for tens of centimeters. These delicate icy structures form from temperature gradients beneath and above the snow. They are so fragile that they crumble at the slightest touch. But when many gather together, they cover the ground with a white forest. A forest made of cold. It makes no sound. It does not sway. It stands in perfect stillness, like winter's dream. On certain shores of the world, at night, the sand begins to glow. At each human step, water bursts into blue flame. This is the work of those same bioluminescent organisms living at the edge of the sea. Move your hand through the water. It lights up. Walk along the sand. Your footprints shine. It is one of the quietest wonders of nature, light that appears only when you move, when you touch the surface of the world. Light that lives in every motion. And finally, there are places where silence becomes itself. The quietest places on Earth are not always deserts or caves. Sometimes they are small valleys where wind cannot pass between the rocks. Sometimes ancient forests where moss absorbs every sound. Sometimes frozen plains where the air is so still it feels as if it doesn't exist. In these places you hear your blood, your breathing, your own heart. And in that moment you understand. Silence is a part of nature too. Just as essential as water, air, light. This beauty is not an accident. This mystery is not rare. The earth has always been such a home with wonders hidden in silence, a home that does not shout its beauty, but whispers it, a home that does not demand attention, but gently soothes us. When you close your eyes, you can feel how this planet softly holds you, how its mountains are pillows beneath the world, how its oceans are blankets wrapped around its surface, how its winds are breaths passing through the windows of your night, how its forests are quiet lullabies sung by leaves. The earth is a home that lives, a home that breathes, a home that loves, even if we seldom notice it. It lulls us every evening when the sun slips beyond the horizon, when the world becomes soft, when the sky darkens, and when we finally allow ourselves to rest. And in that moment, the moment when you lie in silence, the moment when your breathing deepens, the moment when the voice of the earth grows faint, you understand. You have always been part of its beauty, part of its mystery, part of its dream. And now, as our journey comes to an end, as we have softly walked through oceans, mountains, deserts, forests, and even invisible worlds, a deep sense of calm arises, as if the world has become a little quieter, as if the earth itself, so vast and alive, has slowed its breath just enough for you to hear the most important thing, that it is always near, always beneath your feet, above your gaze, in every breath, with every step. We have spoken so much about the movement of the planet, about its rhythms and changes, its secret realms and ancient stories. And all of this is not just a collection of facts. It is a reminder that you are not living separately from Earth, but along with it. You are its part, its guest, its tiny thread woven into the vast, gentle tapestry of life. Remember how you breathe. The air you inhale has circled half the world. How you touch the ground. This ground has existed for billions of years. How you hear the silence. This very silence is shared with you by oceans, glaciers, deserts. In every story we traveled through, there was one common theme. Life moves slowly. The earth lives in its own rhythm, long, flowing, like the breath of someone deeply asleep. It does not hurry. It does not rush toward the next instant. It simply moves. And in listening to it, we too can learn this art, the art of being rather than running. Think of this. Most of the processes we described happen unseen by the eye. Currents in the deep ocean, the slow growth of forests, migrations of ice, glowing plankton, quiet life beneath the soil. We don't see these things, but they exist. So it is in our lives. The most important processes happen within us, calmly, quietly, without haste. Sometimes, to change, it is enough simply to allow yourself to be, to allow yourself to breathe, to allow yourself to release. As you listened to these stories, perhaps time itself grew softer. Perhaps thoughts became slower. Perhaps the sound of the voice became part of your own rhythm. And that is good. The earth also knows that the most valuable things come when a person slows down, when one begins to listen, when one begins to see. Human beings and earth are connected more deeply than it seems. In every breath, her gifted oxygen. In every drop of water, a piece of ancient ocean. In every stone, the memory of a star. We carry this connection within us even when we forget it. And sometimes a single moment of silence is enough to remember. You are not an accident, not a separate story, not something torn away. You are a continuation of the world. Just as the river is a continuation of the rain, just as the mountain is a continuation of the moving earth, just as night is a continuation of day. And now, at the edge of this journey, it is as though Earth wraps you in her soft, invisible blanket, inviting you not just to listen, but to rest. Not just to understand, but to feel. Feel how your inhalation becomes a little deeper, and your exhalation becomes longer. How the body grows heavier in a comfortable way, as if sinking into soft ground. How thoughts turn into clouds that simply drift on, requiring no attention. You have heard a story of how large the world is, of how infinite its beauty is. But this beauty does not require you to be awake. It exists on its own. And while you sleep, Earth continues her dance. Her oceans continue to move, her winds to travel, her forests to breathe. The world does not demand effort from you. It exists to support you, not to strain you. And now you may simply allow yourself to become part of this large, quiet rhythm. To become like a leaf that drifts softly on the water. To become like a grain of sand carried gently, almost weightlessly, by the wind. To become like a wave that rises and then quietly returns. Thank you for being here throughout this journey. Thank you for your trust, for your attention, for your breathing in rhythm with the voice. Thank you for allowing yourself to slow down. Sometimes these very moments, quiet, unhurried, soft, become the important points in life. Points where we require nothing of ourselves except presence. Where we are not trying to keep up, where we simply listen to the world and listen to ourselves. You have gone on a great journey through mountains, deserts, oceans, winds, invisible worlds, and have returned to yourself. Now the path can be left behind, and you may enter into rest, a calm, deep, nighttime rest. Allow your eyelids to grow heavier. Allow your breathing to grow quieter. Allow your body to sink into softness. Because now is the perfect time to rest. You do not need to think. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to analyze. Only to listen to the earth's silence that gently lulls you. She has done this for millions of years, and tonight, she does it for you. Good night. Sleep softly, and may the earth hold you tenderly as she holds all living things upon her surface. You are home. You may rest.